When was the last time you actually looked? Not glanced. Looked. Most people flush and walk away without ever knowing that the toilet bowl holds one of the most accurate, free, daily health reports your body produces. And if you've been ignoring it, there's a good chance you're missing a warning sign that's quietly connected to depression, stubborn weight gain, brain fog, and even autoimmune disease. I'm talking about undigested food in your stool, visible pieces, oil slicks, fragments of what you ate hours ago, leaving your body essentially untouched. It sounds minor. It isn't. What you're about to learn connects something most people consider too gross to think about with the exact symptoms millions of adults are struggling with right now and can't explain. So before you scroll away, give me the next 9 minutes. Your gut is trying to tell you something. Here's what to actually look for. Visible chunks of vegetables like corn kernels, leafy greens, or bits of carrot that look almost the same going out as they did going in. Stringy fibers from meat, an oily film floating on the water, greasy residue that clings to the bowl, stools that float instead of sink or that look pale, loose, or unusually foul-smelling. These are not random quirks, they are signals. Most people never notice because we're trained from childhood to look away. We rush, we flush, we move on. But that 30-second glance is one of the most useful diagnostic habits you can build, and it costs you nothing. Here's the principle worth tattooing on your brain. You don't eat to fill a toilet, you eat to absorb nutrients, protein, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals. All of it is supposed to be broken down, pulled across your intestinal wall, and delivered to your cells. If pieces of your meal are exiting visibly intact, your digestive system is failing at its single most important job. So why does this happen? Digestion is a chemical process, and the workers running that process are called enzymes. 3 main ones matter here. Amylase breaks down carbohydrates, protease breaks down protein, lipase breaks down fat. Without enough of these, food simply passes through your system in roughly the same form it entered. The process starts in your mouth, ramps up in your stomach with hydrochloric acid, then hits its peak in the small intestine, where your pancreas releases a flood of enzymes and your gallbladder releases bile to emulsify fats. When this system runs smoothly, almost nothing visible should make it to the other end. But enzyme production declines for many reasons. Aging is a big one. Output drops noticeably after age 40. Chronic stress shuts down digestion because your body prioritizes survival over breakdown of nutrients. Long-term use of acid blockers, certain antibiotics, and other medications can suppress enzyme activity. Pancreatic insufficiency, gallbladder removal, and conditions like diabetes also play a role. The result is the same. Food enters, food exits, and your body barely got a chance to use it. Now here's where it gets serious. That undigested food doesn't just disappear, it travels into your large intestine where trillions of bacteria are waiting, and those bacteria are about to throw a party at your expense. This is where a condition called dysbiosis begins. Dysbiosis simply means imbalance, a state where harmful, opportunistic bacteria outnumber the beneficial strains that are supposed to dominate your gut. Undigested protein, starch, and fat become the perfect fuel for the wrong kinds of microbes. They feast, they multiply, and they crowd out the good bacteria that keep you healthy. Why does this matter so much? Because your gut is not just a digestion tube. Scientists now call it the second brain, and for good reason. Roughly 90% of your body's serotonin, the neurotransmitter most associated with mood, calm, and well-being, is produced in your gut, not your head. Significant amounts of dopamine, which drives motivation and pleasure, are also made there. So is acetylcholine, which controls memory and focus, and GABA, the chemical that helps you relax and sleep. When dysbiosis takes over, production of these critical neurotransmitters drops. The bacterial environment that supports them is disrupted, and suddenly, the way you feel, think, sleep, and concentrate is being shaped by what's happening in your intestines. This is why undigested food in your stool can quietly destroy 3 areas of your life you'd never connect to digestion. First, your mental health. When serotonin, dopamine, GABA, and acetylcholine production all decline, you don't just feel a little off. You feel anxious for no reason. You wake up tired. You can't focus. You lose motivation. You may be diagnosed with depression and prescribed medication when the actual root cause is sitting in your gut, untreated, for years. Second, your weight. Your intestines produce 2 powerful satiety hormones called GLP-1 and PYY. These are the same hormones that today's most famous weight loss drugs try to mimic. When your gut is inflamed and dysbiotic, natural production of these hormones drops. The signal that tells your brain, "You're full, stop eating," gets weaker. You overeat without understanding why, and weight loss becomes nearly impossible no matter how disciplined you are. Third, autoimmune disease. Chronic dysbiosis damages the intestinal lining, creating what's commonly called leaky gut. Particles that should stay inside the intestine slip into the bloodstream, and your immune system attacks them, and sometimes attacks your own tissues by mistake. This mechanism is linked to Hashimoto's thyroiditis, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, ankylosing spondylitis, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, Sjogren's syndrome, rosacea, and psoriasis. Now, before we go any further, I want to share something with you that fits perfectly into everything we just talked about. If you're sitting there recognizing yourself in these symptoms, the bloating, the sluggish digestion, the feeling that your gut just isn't working the way it should, there's a discovery you need to see. It's an 8,000-year-old underwater gut superfood that's been used by more than 3 billion people around the world to soothe the gut, restart proper digestion, and help the body eliminate up to 10 pounds of toxic buildup clogging the intestines. And it does this without restrictive diets, without expensive probiotics, and without medications. What's strange is that it actually defies what most people believe about fiber. And the results people are reporting in just a few days are honestly hard to believe until you see the science behind it. Point your phone's camera at the QR code on the screen right now to watch the full presentation, or tap the link pinned at the very top of the comments below this video. Pause if you need to. It's worth it. Okay, now back to the topic, because what I'm about to tell you next is just as important. Now, speaking of common assumptions, at this point, a lot of people think the obvious answer is probiotics. Just buy a good probiotic, take it daily, problem solved. I wish it were that simple. Here's the issue. If your digestion is still broken, you're still dumping undigested food into your colon every single day. That food keeps feeding the harmful bacteria that are already winning. Adding probiotics into that environment is like planting fresh seeds in a yard overrun with weeds. The new bacteria can't establish themselves because the conditions favor the bad guys. Probiotics have a role, but they belong further down the line, after you've fixed the upstream problem. The upstream problem is that your body isn't breaking food down properly in the first place. Solve that, change what's reaching the colon, and the entire ecosystem starts shifting. Then probiotics can actually do what they're advertised to do. If you suspect this is happening to you, you don't have to guess. There's a specific test designed exactly for this situation. In the United States, it's most commonly known as a Comprehensive Digestive Stool Analysis, or CDSA. Some functional medicine practitioners also call it a Comprehensive Stool Test, or GI panel. What does it actually measure? It looks at undigested muscle fibers, which signal protein malabsorption. It measures undigested starch, pointing to carbohydrate problems. It detects fat droplets, indicating poor fat breakdown. And it maps out the bacterial population in your gut, showing exactly where the imbalance lives. This test is available through functional medicine doctors, integrative health clinics, and many standard labs with a physician's order. If anything in this video sounds like you, talk to a qualified healthcare provider about getting tested. Don't self-diagnose from a YouTube video. Now to the practical fix. If your body isn't producing enough enzymes, the most direct solution is to supplement them. Digestive enzyme blends are widely available, and the good ones contain a broad spectrum: protease for protein, amylase for carbohydrates, lipase for fat, and often bromelain or papain from pineapple and papaya for additional protein support. Some formulas also include ox bile or betaine, HCl, for people with weak stomach acid. Timing matters. Take them at the very start of each main meal, not after. They need to be present when food arrives, not chasing it down later. Compounding pharmacies can also prepare custom formulas tailored to your specific needs. One important note: if you have an existing gastrointestinal condition, take prescription medications, or have had any kind of GI surgery, talk to a qualified healthcare provider before starting enzyme supplementation. This is general education, not personalized medical advice. Let's tie it all together. Undigested food leads to dysbiosis. Dysbiosis disrupts your neurotransmitters, weakens your satiety hormones, and opens the door to autoimmune disease. The chain is real, and it starts with something you can observe for free every single day in your own bathroom. Pay attention. Look before you flush. Notice patterns. Your body has been giving you data your whole life. Most people just never read it. A few seconds of awareness today could prevent decades of illness tomorrow. You have the information now. Use it well.